I want to talk about stress. Because there's things that, as we begin to unravel the various levels of how mind control is used, what I'm attempting to do is I'm trying to show you the mechanisms that are being influenced, so that when you become aware or begin to attend to those mechanisms, you can then become aware of how they're being influenced. And when you become aware of how they're being influenced, you can then change your response to, instead of reacting to your world, responding to your world. Giving you some spaciousness inside this thing called the brain and this rapid fire thinking that's going on. So stress. Okay? There are 3 levels of stress that we'll talk about on this lecture. And just very quickly, if this, I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you guys, and just thank you so much for listening and participating in this conversation. And if at any time you have a question or want some clarity, please put your hand up, ask a question. But you can get all of this stuff. I have a weekly radio show every Monday from 11 till 1 on Co-Creator Radio Network, where this is all we talk about. And we talk about it worldwide, thousands of listeners. I get people from Japan, from Uruguay, from Brazil, from Netherlands, all participating in this conversation worldwide. If you want to participate in or just listen to it, all the archives are there at my website. You can listen to them. It's very cool stuff. And I've got lots of lectures and lots of things that you can watch that'll get you up to speed with all of this information. Because we haven't even touched on the quantum physics of it all. And when you get into that level of it, you really wonder if you even have a personality, if you even have a person. Because it all breaks down into particles, and it's like, what's the purpose of the, what's the function of the purpose-driven photon? Because it's never mind. It's an inside joke for quantum physicists. So stress. Okay. What we normally call stress. Okay, like when we feel it in our body and we're kind of hot, or we got tension in our neck or our throat, or we're feeling it somewhere, what we identify as stress is actually the second level of stress. There's a step before that physical ramification, and then a step thereafter. Now, the first level of stress is what we call the walk-away response. Okay, so let's say you're in the grocery store, you're going down the aisle, you see some couple fighting over there, and you just kind of walk away, right? You can feel that energy, you don't want to be involved in that energy, you can sense it, and it's just like, and it's called the walk-away response. You see animals do it all the time. A dog sitting there and something happens, they just get up and walk away. Deer do it before they're going to have birth. They're trying to find that safe place, and if they just walk away. Now, we were not allowed that level of reality as we were growing up. Your parents are pissed off at you, or somebody's mad at you. Were you allowed to just walk away? I don't think so. I wasn't. So what happens is that we suppress that level of stress. And then that elevates the level of stress to what is most commonly known as what we call the fight or flight. Now it's not just walk away. Now it's, I got to get away from this, or I got to make it stop. But would you lose your job if you dealt with it, your boss that way? Probably. Did your teachers allow you to do that? Did your parents allow you to express that? No. So once again, now the second level of stress is being suppressed, which then elevates us to the third level of stress. And the third level of stress is unconsciousness. And unconsciousness is the mother of all addiction and the father of all suicide. After we have suppressed our walk away, after we have suppressed our fight and flight, what do we end up doing? We have to find some virtual way to cope with the amount of stress that is in our bodies which leads us to these unconscious activities, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, pornography, rageaholic. So how do we deal with stress?